Hey everybody, Clay Archer, CEO DPC Technology, and I've got another great one today. Today I'm going to check out the new Flex Mini 2.5G. This is a new compact 5-port 2.5 gigabit switch that can be powered with either PoE or by the included USB-C adapter. It's got 4 2.5 gigabit Ethernet ports and 1 2.5 gigabit PoE in for power. And as I said, it includes the USB-C adapter if you do want to power it with USB-C. And with that, let's go ahead and get it adopted to the network. I'm going to go through why I think this is such an amazing switch and I'm so excited about it. And then we'll go through a bunch of use case scenarios and you can decide whether this is the right switch for you. All right, let's jump right into it. I am super excited about this new little switch. If you've seen the Flex Mini, it's very similar in size to the Flex Mini, although they pulled the USB-C power from the back of the unit to the front of the unit, making it a little bit wider. It's a little bit deeper. All there is on the unit is the 5 2.5 gigabit ports. Obviously, one of them has PoE in, so you can power the device over PoE. It also has the USB-C port, as I mentioned, and on the bottom of it, we have a small hole for reset and 2 little anti-skid pads. One thing I do wish they would do with this, and maybe there'll be some third-party 3D printed options, is to make a little mounting cradle where you could mount this maybe up underneath the desk and just snap it right in. It wouldn't be that difficult to do, but at this point I don't see any options for that. Obviously this is a pre-production unit that I'm looking at here, so maybe by the time they release it they may have some sort of cradle. There is no mounting options that come in the box. But other than that, I think this is really the perfect form factor for a small little remote switch. And with that, I'm going to jump in the software real quick. Let's go ahead and adopt the unit. You can see that it came up immediately in my discovery over here. And I'm just going to go ahead and click adopt. And you'll see very quickly it will go ahead and update that, get the latest firmware, and it will adopt right in. And you can see I'm powering this with my USW Pro Max 24 PoE. This is a perfect use case for us. So we do a ton of doctor's offices. And I would say the average doctor's office was built before Cat5 cabling came into vogue. So we have a ton of offices that were built pre-early 90s. And in those offices, at the front desk, typically there may be 1 or 2 Cat5 cables that were run after the fact. The beauty for us is we're able to take one of those Cat5 or Cat6 outlets, put the switch on it instead of running multiple lines to, like, let's say, a front desk area. Very typically for us, you know, they built the office a long time ago, maybe retrofitted with 1 or 2 cables at the front desk. Now we're able to take one of those outlets and multiply it maybe for a printer or for a phone or whatever that needs to be. Now, obviously we've been doing that for years, but we've typically been putting these little 5-port unmanaged switches up there and they get lost over time. And they're also a little bit of a security risk because you don't know what's on those. So, you know, somebody could plug something in, the client brings in something from home, plugs it in there, and you never know that it's there. This being managed in UI network, we're able to see what's out there, label it, turn off ports that we don't think we're going to use, all those kind of neat things. The other great use case for us, we have a ton of offices where we've run a second Cat6 cable for telephone. And not all of those locations actually have a telephone there. We already have a jack there. We already planned on it being a PoE jack. And to be able to put one of these there and, you know, put 2 printers or add some other device that they need on their network without having to run multiple cables over there. And for us, you know, obviously these are commercial locations. We're talking about multiple hundreds of dollars to run a couple of Cat6 cables over there. And then we have, you know, the higher end switches in the back, which can, you know, be anywhere from $500 to $1,000 for one of those switches. And if we're at the margin there where we need to get another one, that can be, you know, a big bill as opposed to throwing one of these down there for $49 and being able to expand the network and be able to maintain it and upgrade it. I also see this switch as kind of a gateway for those of you guys out there that have not stepped into 2.5 gigabit Ethernet at this point. So for me, when the Flex 10 GBE came out, it was my kind of jump into 10 gigabit networking. So that has 5 ports, very similar to this, and I was able to put my HL15 and my computer with 2 ports on it onto that, and let me kind of jump into the 10 gigabit world. Awesome. I also like that this kind of fills out that 5-port portfolio for Unifi, where we've got the Flex Mini, we've got this 2.5, and we've got the 10 GBE. So kind of have that all covered. The next things on my wish list for Ubiquity is in this 4-port range to have some PoE options, and also to build out the 8-port range as well. And there are quite a few offerings in that 8-port range, but I would love this kind of this flex level where you have the inexpensive 1 gigabit, 2.5 gigabit, and maybe a 10 gigabit, and then do it the same thing in PoE. At this point, they have some of that built out, but not all of it, and I would expect that to be part of their future plans. I would also love them to do that at the 16-port level so that we have these 5-porters, we have the 8-porters, and we have the 16-porters kind of in the same kind of level that they did with the Flex this 2.5 and the 10 GPE. These are just perfect little switches. I think this is going to be a big time seller. You know, if you have a spot where you ran a cable to the other side of your house and you just need a few more outlets over there, this is going to be the perfect solution. If you're already in the PoE world and you have a 2.5 gigabit device, you're really set because you're going to be able to run power over it, meaning you don't have to deal with power on the other end, and you're going to get 4 extra 2.5 gigabit outlets over there. I'll jump into it real quick. Obviously, I'm not going to do a full review of the, a small little Unifi switch. If you're here, you probably know most of this already. But I'm able to manage the switch. I'm able to go into Port Manager and name the ports, turn ports on and off, VLANs, insights, all the other stuff that you're going to get with a normal Unifi switch in network. You're able to do with this. Just a really cool device. I've been told it's going to be $49, which I think is an amazing deal to be able to jump into the 2.5 gigabit world, run it over PoE. This is going to be a really, really popular device. My main advice to anybody that's watching this video, if you like this, I would go over to the site and buy it right now. I have a feeling this is going to be a device that is in very high demand and will go out of stock pretty quickly. Hopefully they have planned for its popularity, but I can see this one being a big heavy hitter for Unifi. If you have any questions and you want me to test anything out, please leave them in the comments down below. I read every message. And as always, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video.